Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Shift Proof Your Business with Seniors Investors, with MAPS coaches Dan Iara and Kent Leong. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive a copy of the recording an hour after the call has ended. Please note that this call is for 30 minutes. If you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions regarding today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That is fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me. Dan Kent, take it away.
Thank you so much, and aloha, everybody. Aloha. This is Kent Leong and Danny Ara here to talk to you today about building your business with seniors and investors. Again, my name is Kent Leong, and I'm Dan's business partner. And I have in the room with me Danny Hara, the rainmaker of the Hara team, part of Keller Williams Honolulu. So, Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I've been in real estate, as you know, Ken, since 2005. Started on my own at a Prudential firm. Was there for 8 years. In the beginning, we grew our business through. My first listing was an older adult, right, the senior.
And the first listing.
Yeah, very first listing ever. And she was a hoarder, and she didn't know what to do. And the house was, I don't know if you know what a trail home is, but the trail homes were, there's a trail from the door to the sink to the toilet to the bed, and everything else is stuff.
Yeah, I think I've seen that on TV. Ordered, right? You have that show.
Yeah, absolutely. I walked right in, and I stood there for 30 minutes in a listing presentation, and they never sat down because there was nowhere to sit. Literally, she sat in the only spot, right? So from that, we learned how to help our older clients process their stuff and process life and where to go. And then it led into, well, these older adults also had investment properties. Okay. Right. So we started doing a lot of seminars, senior living options. We did building wealth to investment properties, building wealth to 1031 exchanges, creating a legacy, a series of seminars we've done. Okay. And over time, well, our business just kept growing and growing to where it is today. Okay. Which, looks like we'll get pretty close to our goal of about $100 million production. We have a large team of 26 of us, I believe.
Well, not all in production, right? We've got a lot of admin staff and whatnot. So in terms of actual realtors, seven or eight?
Yeah. 7 or 8.
So 100 million for 7 or 8, that's pretty good.
Productivity. Yeah, we have 9 VAs that do our marketing. So we built a thing called the Complete Solution over the years. We started selling real estate. Then we started about 8 years ago, almost 10 years ago, started a company called Senior Move Managers, where we help people downsize, declutter, and move, and figure out where to go. And that seemed to be a solution that most people didn't have, and no realtor for certain had available to them or even knew about. So that really started helping us get referral business from retirement communities, and we built a model around serving older adults and where do they go and what life looks like, right? Okay. Then we built, we actually built Stage Hawaii just recently, and high property management because people wanted to invest, but they didn't want to manage their properties. So that's all part of what we call the Complete Solution USA, and that's what we built over the last 14 years.
Okay. So, you've been in business now for about 14 years. And you've gone through many different turns, I would imagine, right? You can deal with first-time home buyers or a variety of different opportunities out there as realtors. Sky's the limit in terms of opportunities. So take us down that journey of where you went. Where did you find the opportunities, and how did you expand upon that to get to a point where your team is going to do 100 million this year?
Right. Oh, thanks, sir. That's cool. In 2005 when I started. Remember when the last shift was? That was kind of the beginning of it, right? 05, 06, 07. That time period is when there was a huge shift in the market, and a lot of people were having trouble with their real estate businesses. We didn't know there was a shift because our business kept growing. Okay. It kept growing because we had a model that was around getting listings where, one, nobody's really looking for the listings. Two, it's shift proof, right? They're not selling because, the market's doing great, because the market wasn't, right? Market was tilting a bit in that time period. So if values aren't going up, who's going to sell?
Yeah, good point.
Well, it's the people that have to sell, not who want to sell. And these are people who are selling because of a lifestyle change that occurred. And we were the solution for that transition. So we started with senior living option seminars that took off pretty well very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Our very first seminar we did, we had 50 people show up, and we didn't know anybody would show up. And then we've been doing it ever since, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do 6 to 10 seminars a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so we built a model around perfecting, converting those people who show up to appointments, and then which help build the entire engine that we have.
So let me understand this. You started looking at the senior market, and by focusing on the senior market and going through that shift, right? That shift back then, it didn't really affect your business. In fact, your business thrived.
Yeah.
And over the past couple of years, what has Gary been talking about?
Yeah. How do you be prepared for the
shifting market?
Yeah.
So it might be an ideal time to consider focusing on seniors and investors.
In particular, it's really focusing on the listing, right? Because we know that if we can get the listing, we're going to get the inventory. Get the inventory, we get buyers. So it'll just drive your entire business, which it has for us. And then somewhere in the 2010 time period,
mm-hmm.
we started with 1031 exchanges. We started doing seminars on 1031 exchanges because nobody was doing it. And as you know, if you get one client, that's 2 transactions.
Right. Sell and a buy, right?
And really the goal was, how do we get to the wealthy, right? And the wealthy typically have their wealth in real estate, investment properties.
Mm-hmm.
And really what's really cool now is, because we're part of Keller Williams and the largest network in the world has ever seen, we're doing 1031 exchanges in all kinds of states that we've never been to, right? And it's because our clients either have them there selling, or they want to buy there because their kids, this legacy planning that we create, it creates opportunities for them as well as us to grow our model and our business, where we really don't have competition in this area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does 1031 exchange seminars. Nobody talks about investment properties the way we do.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we started doing investment seminars, that really took off and started doing well for us. And then as our team started growing, it just, we just built a model around it such that, I don't even do half of the seminars anymore, right? Jen and Chad does them. Our team produces those seminars, and they're securing appointments. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about today then?
So let's go over the class that we have is the group coaching class through MAPS is 4 1-hour sessions.
Mm-hmm.
The first one's a market overview and really understanding what the opportunity looks like. So we'll talk about that now. When you look at the size of the market, where do you think we're going to get listings from?
Mm-hmm.
Right? The left side or the right side?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Gen X's, they don't have anything to sell yet. Maybe millennials might have something to sell, but it's really not the higher priced properties typically because they haven't generated enough wealth, right? It's really from the baby boomers and up. That's where our business has been, right? Because they've had enough time to gather wealth. And what we're also finding now is, if you take a look at the greatest and silent generation, while it's a small percentage of that screen, all these people are passing away, and they're giving it to whom? Their kids, who are often baby boomers. And look how big that market is,
mm-hmm.
right? It's a huge market, right? That baby boomer market now gathering wealth, and they're trying to figure out what to do with it, right? And nobody's helping them understand how to create a legacy while they're real estate. Most of our clients are the wealthy. Most of them don't need the money from the investment property. But they'll go to the financial planner, and they'll talk about, the instruments and tools the financial planner can plan for, right? But who's managing the real estate?
So when you look at this chart, what you're saying then is the Gen X, the Gen Z, the millennials, although they represent a significant size of the market, the opportunity with them would probably be few and far between, for one, and two, price points may also be a lot lower.
Yes.
When you look at baby boomers on up, they've had time where their properties have appreciated. They've paid it down, so a ton of equity.
Yeah.
In addition to that, they've got rental properties or investment properties.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, if I were to target a market, sounds to me like baby boomers, silent gen, and the greatest generation. That's where I'd put my money as well.
Well, yeah, because that's the market that nobody's really going after. Everyone's doing the short sales and the foreclosure and the withdrawals and expires. And that's a great model. I'm not knocking that. But look at how much competition is there, right? By the time you call on one of those, you're number 10. This market, you're going to be the only one that shows up. Right?
Well, I do see more competition there. There is the SRES. There is a little bit more focus because the senior market is growing, right?
Yep,
just every day, more and more seniors.
10,000 people a day.
So the opportunity is growing. So why have you been successful in this market?
Well, I think because we built a model around how do you care for somebody, how do you provide enough information, how do you be the consultant in senior living options? Where can I go? What does life look like? So that's really the question is, where are they going? Well, if you can imagine if you're talking to an 85-year-old lady who's thinking, I think I want to list my house, I want to sell it. Do you think you're going to want to sell it without knowing where she's going to go? Well, typically you're going to find out, right? So where are you going to go? I don't know. Well, that may slow down getting you the listing sign, essentially. Because if she doesn't know where to go, then she's not moving.
Okay.
So, they're going to a number of areas. One is age-restricted properties. We'll go into all of this detail in our class. And there's a lot of those Del Webb properties out there. Downsizing smaller house or condo. We see a lot of communities now, gentrified communities that have condo walking communities, and that's where a lot of them are going. Good news with that market is you're getting a sell and a buy because they're selling a large asset, they're buying something smaller, though it's still highly valued because it's pretty expensive, right? Some are going to move in with their kids, then there's a lot of these accessory dwelling units, ADUs, that are coming into many communities that are available to build. Going into care homes. Imagine if you knew somebody or had a contact where you can place a call while you're in front of a listing and find a couple places where they could actually visit in a care home if they need it. And then retirement communities. We're advocates of retirement communities. We see the difference of people who were prior to and people who are living there. They're just so much happier and a lot less stress involved. But imagine understanding what that world looks like. Imagine being able to say, where are they? What do they look like? How big are they? How much do they cost? Can I talk to somebody there? If you could set all that up, get a lunch and a tour, can you do that, right? And if you did, what happens?
So over the years that you've been working with seniors, you probably developed scripts and you developed information or questions, you developed relationships. Why is that important?
Well, really, you want to be the expert, right? People will start calling you if you have information.
Okay.
Right? If you can be the source of information, or at least to guide them as a resource, they're going to start calling. And so we have people, older people that are currently living in their homes, their kids. We have the government calling us, the city and county of Honolulu calling us. We have the State of Hawaii Office of Public Guardian, Elderly Affairs Division, Adult and Protective Services. They all call on us because they know that we have the information. And just imagine how many people now see you as that expert and knowing that you can sell real estate. Right? Couple those two together, you're going to get more phone calls for helping people out. Right? They're going to call you for advice, but they're also really most important is when you meet with them, they're going to know that you care, because that's really all that matters.
So that's interesting because you talked not only about the seniors themselves, right, and understanding the market so that you can have a good conversation with them in terms of options, but you also talked about the communities themselves, and you talked about the public guardian and different agencies. And so it sounds like you have relationships with others, professional relationships that might allow you to receive referrals from them.
Is that right? Oh, absolutely. I was highly intentional on who I wanted to be in relationship with. Those who are in relation with an older adult, or those who are the resource or the trusted advisors. All of those people are the ones that you're going to want to be in relation with. We actually even built an association, Elder Advocate Association. Just made it up. They created an Elder Advocate Association. It doesn't mean anything other than a word. And we invited 50 financial planners, trust attorneys. Some we knew, some we didn't. They all came and they had a great time. And Now they're talking about, oh yeah, did you see the client that Dan helped with us? We just do the referral network, just kept growing and growing. And then we became a known entity in this arena where, you know, a lawyer who meets with the client can't answer these questions, right? A CPA can't answer those questions about where to go. You know, the private banker doesn't. You know, the financial plan. All of these people want to provide a solution to the older adult, but they just don't have the resources or the information to do that. Right? And so then we network with these folks because they're the ones that, hey, we're going to give business to the probate attorney too if there's a probate situation that comes up, or somebody closes and prior to them closing, we're asking, one of the three questions we ask all of our clients is, who's your attorney? Who's your financial planner? Right? Who's your attorney? Who's your financial planner? And who's your CPA? Because all three of those are going to need to know what we're doing when we start creating plans and strategies with their property that they live in and property that they don't live in. And oftentimes we know who those people are. And we provide business to them and they provide business to us. So it creates a stronger instant relationship and trust.
So you'll cover the approach, what those conversations look like. Also share what you see in terms of what's in it for the other professionals as well, right? Because it's got to be a two-way street.
Absolutely. In the class, you're going to hear a lot of the scripts that we use, and also really how do we position ourselves, right? Position ourselves within the community, position ourselves within the trusted advisors, within the retirement community world. How do we position ourselves as that expert? And believe it or not, it's not that hard. Okay, it's really not. Okay. So the other thing that we found over time, and this was just because we asked questions, was, you know, they have assets. You know, these older adults, many of them, when they, you know, the savvy, wealthy older adult had bought properties when they were young, right? When their kids are young, and now their kids are much older, and they've held them for quite some time, right? And so what happened is they've had all these assets, and then some of them were passing away. Aunties, uncles, mom and dad, they're all passing away, and then where is it going to go? Well, it's getting inherited by the next generation. Right? So this is the largest transfer of wealth we're going to see in America in our lifetime right now, because these older adults are passing away and they're getting into their baby boomers, and even higher end, the baby boomers are now starting to pass away and pass it to their kids. Right? So this large transfer of wealth is something that people are not prepared for. Right? They don't know how to handle it. And they don't know what their opportunity could look like.
What their options are, right?
Right, what their options are, right? And the other good thing about this market is most of them, they're all paid off, right? It's greatly appreciated. They had it for a long time. And, you know, it's a huge piece of equity that's sitting out there that they're not really quite sure what to do with. It could be vacant land. It could be apartment buildings. It could be shopping centers. It doesn't. They have wealth. Right? And also, because they've had these properties for such a long time, you know, a lot of times we'll hear, oh, yeah, my tenant's great. She's been there for 20 years, and they've never raised the rent. Right? And so most of them are going to be, what we find actually, very underperforming. And the assets just aren't bringing in the kind of income that it could. And so in our class, we talk about an asset performance test. Yeah, right. So the asset performance test will basically provide a tool for our agents to define and be clear on how one asset, if it were sold at a certain price, could generate much more money if you just did a 1031 exchange with no additional investment. Right? We can show that, and that's riveting. That gets people to move. Right? It makes sense for that generation that does care about the money. Right? And then just creating a legacy with their real estate. Right? There's a section that we'll talk about on how you use a 1031 exchange to allow older adults' children to predetermine their inheritance, right, prior to mom and dad passing away, so that they can say thank you to mom and dad while they're alive, and mom and dad can enjoy the fruit of their labor from generations to generation, and know that they've now created a legacy with that.
So with these seniors, you can have discussions regarding their senior living options. You can talk about their investment portfolio, real estate investment portfolio. Sounds like you're going on the path of taking a look at how it's performing. You're talking to them about how it might be able to be improved using the exchange process. And part of it is also to talk about leaving a legacy for their kids as well. Right? So a number of different angles with that senior in terms of opportunities, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. Gary always talks about, when we meet with him, he always talks about trying to find your bullseye, right? Identify and be clear on what your bullseye is. And for us, it's the wealthy older adult, right? It's right in the middle. And typically, it's all the problems that they have and or the opportunities that they could have, we can solve and we can be part of and we can support. And it'll help us build our business at the same time.
Okay.
So the other portion is about securing listings, and really that's what we focus our business on. Is our model is we were trying to be 50-50, but we're more 60-40 or 70-30 in that range, mainly because we focus a lot of our work on serving seniors. Right? So, what would your business look like if you dominated in that area? Well, they hold a lot of this market. They have a lot of this old money. We say old money. It's not like they just made it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not the tech money. This is seniors who have been in way before that, and they just worked hard and they've collected money, and their family has. So it's really old money. It's not new money, so to speak. And many of them, you're going to have more than one property.
Okay.
And, many of our clients, we've done the most challenging 1031 exchange we did is we sold 5 to buy 1, and they were in 4 different states. Right. So that gets complicated. But imagine being able to master that. Imagine being able to create an opportunity for a family to consolidate. And that's the other thing what older adults want to do is they want to consolidate. Right? They don't want to have 15 different properties in multiple states. They want to bring it back and make it simple for the next generation. Then they're also looking at, well, what's better for my next generation and their kids? Where do you think they want their assets? Not maybe where it currently is.
Mm-hmm.
So this strategy and this conversation is a conversation that realtors really don't have, right? For the most part, right? Unless you're in this world and you come to our class, and we'll talk more about it. The 1031 exchange, as you know, is at least 2 transactions, and many times it's 4 or 6 for us. And then really the biggest part of what will happen over time is it's like a snowball. It keeps growing as it grows downhill. And as you start really intensely building your business in this market, like making a list of financial planners and having lunch with them, right? I'm actually the only member of the Financial Planners Association in Honolulu, right? Private bankers, find out who they are, because what you want is they're more seasoned people that have been there a long time, that have a huge bank of wealthy older adults as their clients. Trust companies, CPAs, all of these people. Imagine an older adult, when something happens, who are they going to go to for advice? That's who they're going to go to. Their trusted advisors.
Question in the for the 4-session agenda, will you cover the relationships between all different resources, the CPAs, the bankers, trust companies, attorneys?
Yes. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, because a lot of it seems to be vague to me in terms of, well, how does each silo of expertise play within the senior market? So you will cover that.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, we're going to give a process for you to address the market initially as you start to begin the process, and then as you start developing and building your business in it. All right, because it starts from the beginning, right? From how we started. When we started, there was nobody to follow. There was nobody at a class on this. I was highly intentional about what I wanted to accomplish, and it seemed to work over time.
So that's a good point. This will help to accelerate, right?
Absolutely.
If you want to enter into this market, learn from your mistakes. You'll share your mistakes.
14 years of total mess ups.
Right. To help accelerate the learning and the approach and the entry into the senior market.
It'll just save tons of time, years out of your life. Because the mistakes that we made, you're not going to make, because we're going to talk about them. And then the things that worked well, you'll learn that, and we're going to talk about them. So this model and all of our models, everything that we do is going to be delivered in 4 one-hour sessions. just 4 sessions. Right?
Okay. So ultimately, what you're looking for is to what? Secure more listings.
Secure more listings. Yeah, absolutely. This year, what do we do? We're going to do about almost 100, I think 86 listings, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so program details. Our last date next week, Tuesday, 15th, right? It'll be at 1 p.m. Central. It's an hour long, and it'll be 4 sessions, and the price is $198.
Yep. $198 to learn from 14 years of mistakes.
Well, let's not focus on the mistakes.
Not a bad deal, though. I think it will cut years out of someone's life if they really want to do this, learn how to do this, and build a model around it. And Gary, when I first met Gary and he asked me to come on stage when we first started in the company, he said, Dan, this is very duplicatable.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go out and share this.
Mm-hmm.
And because, our people need to know that there's a model that you can build a moat around your business and be shift-proof.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We won't get impacted by any shift in the market because our focus is on somebody who's not selling because the market's great. It's because of a need, right? And a desire. And somebody's got a lot of equity in a piece of real estate that they want to try to build wealth with. It's generational.
And regarding price, I know you don't want to share this, but I'll share because it's probably better coming from me than for you. And it may sound very corny. But really, this is Stan's attempt to give back to the KW family at $198. This is not something that he can retire on.
Yeah.
But really, it is meant to be useful information that you can take, apply to your business, and hopefully prosper. Because as a family, if everyone prospers, we all. And so, really, in addition to sharing the information, the goal that Dan has is to help everyone be successful who wants to enter into this market.
It's a great market to be in, and knowing that you really impact somebody's life, that impacted an entire family of people. So we just would want to share and learn from everything that we've learned over the years. And I believe you can do this in your market too. Because funny thing, there's old people everywhere, Ken.
Well, we are getting a little older ourselves. So.
Amen to that.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps up our time with you today. And you want to say a few parting words?
So if you're interested to learn about this business, for less than $200, you can learn it. For somebody that spent my entire real estate career focused on, and we still are. I mean, we are growing every day through the mistakes that we've made, but also to things that actually worked out pretty well. And I can say that, it's pretty good business model, right? And it's built a large team and a pretty big engine. So,
and it's proven here. So,
yep. Alrighty, everybody. Look forward to talking to you soon. When does it start?
It starts
October 15th. October 15th. For those of you who sign up, we'll see you then.
Okay.
Aloha.
Aloha, everybody.